Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into what really separates the absolute best performers from, well, everyone else, especially when the pressure's on. We're going to peel back the curtain on that invisible operating system that lets them thrive when the stakes couldn't be higher.
So here's the big question, right? It's something we've all seen, maybe even felt. In those make-or-break moments, what is that invisible thing that makes all the difference? To really get our heads around this, let's jump right into a story.
You can feel that, can't you? That sinking feeling. The game feels rigged. Tom has put in years of blood, sweat, and tears for this promotion, and one single text message makes it feel like it's all about to come down to who you know. Now, this is the moment. For most people, this is the breaking point. But for a true operator, this is something else entirely.
So what's the real difference maker here? It's not about being the most talented person in the room, and it's definitely not about luck. It's the inner work, the mental prep that high performers do long before they're ever in that high-pressure situation. You see, while everyone else is out there chasing external skills, operators know that real, unshakable success starts on the inside. So let's break down exactly how they do it.
Okay, so that inner work, it all starts with the foundation, which is a bulletproof mindset. And no, this isn't just about thinking positive or happy thoughts. This is about building a mental framework that is specifically designed to work best when everything is going wrong.
This whole mindset really boils down to 3 simple rules. First, you default to positivity. Now, that doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means you're training your brain to hunt for solutions instead of excuses. Second, you ask, what can I learn from this, instead of, why is this happening to me? That little switch turns a personal attack into a valuable piece of data. And finally, you accept reality, like completely accept it. This stops you from burning precious energy wishing things were different and lets you pour all of it into what you can actually do next.
And here's a core distinction operators live by, and this is huge. They treat their feelings like the weather. They're always changing, they can be intense, but they're completely unreliable for making decisions. The facts, on the other hand, well, the facts are the solid ground you build your plan on.
And all of that leads us to the operator superpower, the ability to act, to execute no matter how you feel. Let's go back to Tom and his car. The feeling is pure dread, right? But the facts are, there's a new competitor, and his presentation is in 1 hour. While most people would be totally paralyzed by that feeling, an operator executes the plan. This one skill, it's the engine that drives everything else.
So once you've got that bulletproof foundation, where does the drive to get better and better come from? Well, that brings us to the fuel. Operators have this incredible way of turning their own perceived weaknesses into basically rocket fuel for growth.
And this distinction right here, it's everything. An inferiority complex is a dead end. It's that voice that says, I'm not good enough, so I can't even try. It's a prison. But an inferiority feeling? That's totally different. That's just an awareness that there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. And for an operator, that gap isn't a source of shame. Nope. It's a call to action. It's the starting line for a grand new plan. Think about Tom again. His rival, Daniel, has connections upstairs. Now, that could easily trigger that inferiority complex. But an operator reframes it. That feeling becomes a data point. They ask, okay, what specific things does this person do that I can learn from? And just like that, that feeling of not being there yet becomes the very thing that drives them to close that gap.
And here's how they make it practical. They break down these huge, overwhelming goals into almost laughably small steps. Build $1 million business feels impossible. But make 1 sale this week? That feels doable. This intense focus on the immediate next step creates momentum and keeps them motivated for the long game.
Okay, so you've got the mindset to handle any storm, and you have the fuel for non-stop growth. But let's be real, these high-stakes situations, they almost always involve other people. And that's where operators get their edge. They can truly read the room. They've learned to look past what people say to understand what they're actually communicating.
People can't help but transmit the truth through little signals like these. A slight change in their voice when a certain topic comes up, or their body language just doesn't match their words,
or a tiny, fleeting facial expression, these are the signals that reveal what's really happening under the surface, and operators are trained to spot them.
Now let's be crystal clear, this is not about manipulation. It's the exact opposite. It's about developing a deep sense of connection by truly understanding someone else's mindset. For Tom, in that presentation, it means he's not just talking at the executives, he's watching them, he's listening, he's understanding what they really care about, and he's connecting his vision to their unspoken needs.
All right, these skills, mindset, growth, perception, they're not just one-time tricks you learn. They're worthless without consistency. And that brings us to the fourth element, discipline. Think of it like a modern samurai. Operators know that real mastery is built through systems, not just random flashes of willpower. The legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi just nailed this. He said, "The way is in training. The path to mastery, the real secret, it isn't found in some magic motivation hack. It's found in the simple, daily act of doing the work. It's about showing up, especially when you don't feel like it."
So how do we actually apply this ancient wisdom today? It's through simple, structured habits. A morning routine that primes your mind. An evening review that locks in the lessons from the day. Tom's confidence in that moment doesn't come from some brilliant last-minute idea. It comes from the thousands of hours of disciplined training he's already put in. The system is his strength.
But what is it that drives that discipline, day in and day out? That brings us to our final component, the transmission. This is all about the power of your personal story. Operators are masters of narrative because they understand that stories are how we all make sense of the world. The story Tom tells himself in that car, it is everything. He could tell a story of being a victim, the game is rigged, I never stood a chance. Or he could tell an operator's story. This is the ultimate test, my preparation versus their politics, let's see which one wins. That one shift in the story completely changes how his brain and his body respond to the challenge. So, let's pull this all together. You've got the mindset, the fuel, the edge, the discipline, and the narrative. See, these aren't just separate tricks. They all integrate together to create a powerful inner operating system that's built for high-stakes environments. And you know what makes this whole framework so powerful? It's designed for reality. It's built for the messy, complicated world we actually live in. It assumes things are going to go sideways. It anticipates challenges and difficult people, like Daniel. It's a practical system for navigating the world as it is, not as we wish it would be. Ultimately, what this all comes down to is taking ownership. It's about understanding that no matter where you are right now, whether you're sitting in your car with your stomach in knots or facing your own version of that challenge, that is simply your starting point. It's not the end of the story. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. The path to mastery isn't a secret locked away in a vault. It's a commitment to practice. The way is in training. The only real question left is, when does yours begin?